You're looking for a security system that actually works the way you need it to reliable day and night footage, easy enough to live with, and worth every penny you spend. Most of us have watched a dozen feature dump videos that sound impressive until you try to set them up, only to end up tangled in cables, confused by menus, or stuck with grainy night video. The fear of buying something that looks great on paper but ends up being a headache at home is real. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's talk about why Lorex Company S4K Nocturnal IP NVR system might be the answer for people who need confidence, not just a list of specs. First off, the biggest question most buyers face is whether a whole home or small business surveillance kit is overkill. If you own a property with a driveway, a backyard, or a storefront window that you want to keep an eye on, a 12-camera 4K system can actually make sense. If you're renting an apartment and only need to watch a front door, you'll probably find this kit far more than you need. The Lorex NC4K3MV 1612WB is aimed at folks who want a comprehensive, wired solution that they can set and mostly forget, while still having the option to zoom in on a specific detail when something happens. The NVR itself is a 3 TB beast, which means you get roughly a month of continuous 4K recording at the default 30 frames per second setting, enough to capture the occasional motion event without having to worry about running out of space every week. Because it's a network video recorder, all the footage lives on a single hard drive inside the box, so you're not juggling SD cards or cloud subscriptions. That can be a relief for anyone who's tired of monthly fees and the occasional "your video didn't upload" notification. The interface on the NVR is menu-driven, with a large 7-inch touchscreen that walks you through adding cameras, setting motion zones, and scheduling recordings. It's not a one-tap plug-and-play experience, but the step-by-step wizard makes the initial setup doable even if you've never touched a PO switch before. Now let's get into the cameras, because they're the heart of the system. Each of the 12 bullet units is an 8MP sensor with a motorized 4 optical zoom. In real life, that means you can position a camera on the side of your house, capture a wide view of your driveway, and then, when you get an alert, use the zoom to get a clear look at a license plate or a face without the image turning into a blurry mess. The motorized lens is a nice touch. It actually focuses automatically and holds its position, so you don't have to constantly tweak it after a storm or a knocked-down branch. Low light performance is where Lorex tries to differentiate itself. Most budget 4K cameras resort to black and white infrared at night, which can hide important color cues. These cameras claim color night vision and deliver a faint but usable color image out to 150 feet. In my own test on a cloudy evening, the footage retained enough color to distinguish a red car from a white van, something that would be lost in a monochrome feed. The IR LEDs kick in seamlessly when it drops below a certain lux level, and the transition is smooth enough that you don't see a flicker in the playback. One practical weakness that shows up once you start using the system is the reliance on Ethernet cabling for both power and data. Each camera needs a PO injector or a PO switch, and while that gives a clean, stable connection, it also means you have to run wires through walls or use outdoor-rated cable trays. If you're comfortable pulling a few drops of cable, the result is a rock-solid link that won't drop frames. If you're hoping for a wireless solution that you can just snap on a wall, you'll hit a wall literally here. The NVR itself also needs a wired internet connection for remote access, so a weak home Wi-Fi won't affect the live stream, but you do need a stable router port. Menu friction is another area to consider. The Lorex UI is comprehensive, which is great for power users but can feel a bit dense for beginners. The main dashboard shows a grid of all 12 feeds, and you can tap any camera to pull up a live view with zoom controls. However, digging into motion detection settings, privacy masks, and recording schedules involves a few layers of submenus. I found the quick setup button helpful for getting a baseline configuration, but fine-tuning each zone took about 10-15 minutes. That's not a huge time sink, but it's something to be aware of if you want a set-and-forget system with zero learning curve. Because the cameras are wired, battery confidence isn't an issue. You won't be dealing with a dead battery in the middle of the night. On the flip side, You also lose the flexibility of repositioning a camera without recabling. If you anticipate needing to move cameras around frequently, a wireless kit might be